our black women have been losing jobs left and right, especially with these government situations. Definitely now that DEI is gone. I mean, we get the point. But I'm just saying here, though, this young lady, this first young lady, I'm going to show you. She has something to say, and then we're going to go to Corey Holcomb. What I'm saying, shout out to him, and he's going to have things to say about this situation as well, and it's all adding up. It's all adding up. You know what I'm saying? And when women were out here with the entitlement, talking sideways to us as men, we don't make as much as they do, things like that. But even though the stats actually show that, men are still making more than women, period, as a group, it's it's just an off trot that the off excuse me the off-putting situation that women allowed themselves to get in with their attitudes and their mindsets. So let's go here now. Let's get this thing started. Let's go here now. Quarters, nickels, and dimes, people.
Black women, they are doing the same thing to us that they did to black men 40 years ago, which is pushing us out of the workforce. That's what they did to black men. And that is what caused the major divide within our community with regards to the gender wars. We
Right.
saw black men the way they wanted us to see them because they didn't have the upward mobility that we had because of our jobs that we were able to get in the federal government. For one, the federal government was one of the biggest job employers for black women, and they're pushing us out left and right. We lost more jobs last month than any other demographic. And those jobs are not coming back. And if they come back, they're not going to give them to us. I don't care what degree you got. Because you can see right now, they don't care nothing about those degrees. As soon as we started getting it, they ain't mean anything anymore. I say this to say we going to have to work with black men. Whatever grief you got with black men, get over it. It's time for us to work together. We need them and they need us. And this is just more proof of that.
Listen, look, shout out to her. Shout out to her. Now, I'm saying this. I'm not saying that she's not wrong. She is perfectly right, 100% in her thinking. This is the plight of us in America. It's always been that since we were brought over here as slaves collectively, and we fought our way out of slavery into civil rights, Jim Crow, all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know the story. But now in the 21st century, we seem to have this ick, or like women like to use the ick. We seem to have this disdain for one another. And I'm not saying that, and I'm be honest with you, it's more disdain coming from the women than it is from the majority of the men. And it's a huge brainwashing issue that happened out here for the past 40 years. And this young lady was definitely right about that situation. 40 years ago, they started getting rid of the factories and all the other the manual labor jobs and stuff like that that brought in the real household income to where men could provide for the household. And I'm not saying that black women never worked. And see, that's a whole bullshit story that a lot of modern day women are in, that women of the past, black women of the past, just never worked. I don't know how y'all thought about that shit, because if you ever watch any of these old school movies, uh you know what was that movie with the little white girl was telling the story about the help, the movie The Help. Yeah, black women were doing that. How you think the white folks got their floors clean? Black women were doing all that, had been since slavery. So black women have been working right along with black men since slavery. I don't get this idea nowadays that black women thought that these women in the past, just black women never did work. I, I don't know where the fuck that came from. But listen, look. All right, so we're gonna keep going here, and we're about to dive off into what Corey Holcomb had to say, because this is serious out here, man. And I'm not trying to downplay the facts about our sisters out here losing their jobs. Because it is a shame, but we're seeing the play at hand. We're seeing the same system that was in play that displaced black men in the past, like that young lady said. It is the truth. They're doing it now because the system is actually done with you. And I said this in a previous broadcast that I did, about how you know, the reason why this past administration, they was trying to bring in all these illegals and stuff like that, because the beast has chewed up black people so much till there's no nutrition left in us. It's nothing left. It's nothing left for that beast to feed on off of us. We don't have any more nutrition to feed the beast. And that's the reason why they're trying to bring in new food to devour out here. Bullshit. Real talk. No play. It's no games. It's no games. All right, so we're about to go here now and see what Corey Holcomb had to say about this situation. Yes, it's always quarters, nickels, and dimes, people. Shout out to Corey Holcomb. 5150 show. You know what I'm saying? Real talk.
What's up, baby? I tell people, man, this is church.
Hitman 221 said internet doctor. That's the news.
I knew I was gonna waste some on my shit.
Did you? What happened?
I'm good though. A subject that needs to be talked about is all of the sisters getting laid off from their jobs. Not all of them. A lot of sisters are losing their jobs.
Talking about the government jobs that he was trying to shut down.
Yeah, a lot of jobs.
Shit, UPS is fired 70,000.
I thought it was 22,000 last time. Remember I covered it?
Yeah, I think the goal is 70. But I think the goal is.
Okay. Damn.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, my sisters, the roosters are coming home. My sisters, everything you did is finna come back on you because they have people in place government-wise to show you we used you to destroy the village. Now we really have no use for you no more. Your daddy ain't there. Your husband ain't there. Your son is raised wrong. Your daughter is watching you twerk. You have done what we wanted you to do well in destroying the village. The father of your child is probably in court with you over nothing.
Hold on. Yeah, I'm going to get a few commercials here, people. It just is what it is.
We have used you to the same way, like back in the day, Eve ate from the forbidden tree.
Right.
This is the same thing. You ate from the forbidden tree. You went and used a system that destroys you to destroy your family. And now, with this administration in, they have no use for you. Remember all the female black mayors and everything that was happening and all like that?
Yeah.
They ain't got no use for that shit no more. I see the girl. We are the most educated. Yes, they sold you a degree that ain't finna be worth. Yeah.
Yo. And that's just the truth. You know, they went to these colleges and stuff, and they also jacked the prices up on these degrees because let's go back 40, 50 years ago. The price of a degree was nothing of what it is today. You know what I'm saying? They did a lot of, in my mind, in my opinion, they did a lot of price gouging on these degrees. They got these women in tremendous amounts of hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of debt for these pieces of paper that, you know what I'm saying, you went to some of these white people's college. And I'm not trying to be racist. Don't get this shit twisted. But I'm saying, though, it just is what it is. A lot of these institutions are ran by, you know what I'm saying, not black people. You know, but I'm just saying, you go to some of these institutions and things like that, and they've jacked the prices up. They've overcharged these women for these pieces of paper and then sent them out in the world and things like that. And now they don't have, you know, the jobs available for these women to pay the money to get the money that it needs to be in order for them to pay back the loans. That's the reason why we having a huge student loan situation. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, everybody voted for Biden because, I may delete the loan. I know I can't talk like Biden, but you get the point. You get the point. You know, and that's he can't delete them loans. That was a whole lie.
You who have aged out and fell for the sucker shit in destroying your village, your family, and yourselves, the only thing you can do is try to tell your children, don't do what I did. All you women 40, 50, 60, it's over for you. You need to explain to your children, don't do what I did. Don't go around here talking about you don't need a man publicly. Don't go around bashing men for the most part publicly, because all these women who are on the internet for bashing men, there's a record of it, and I think we need to keep a record of these women in case they try to act like they something different later on, but most of them will follow.
Hey, listen, look, I'm going to advocate for this right here. I think it's an app that needs to be made specifically that only allows men on that app, because women got shit like this. They got shit like that on Facebook, stuff like they only allow women in. I think it's an app that needs to be made to where only men get on there, and we post the women that we know are horrible human beings and stuff like that, and we keep men aware and alert of these situations all around America. I'm just being honest here. I know a lot of motherfuckers ain't gonna like that. A lot of people ain't gonna like that. But you know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. It is what it is.
Oh, who's ever the leadership, whether the leadership is good or bad, they'll follow the leadership. While we're in this position we're in, I'm talking about the moral people of the world. You have to be aware of these women that's out for self, not for the village, because they are about to find themselves back in the village with the villagers, and the fronting like you rich, the fronting like all this is finna be over. I'm telling you, most of my sisters are broke than a motherfucker.
And that's just the truth out here. You know what I'm saying? Student loans, and we also know, you know what I'm saying? Hold on. We also know that women like to spend money tremendously. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and it's an upkeep for women. Don't get it wrong. Definitely in today's society, things are not what they used to be. Women didn't used to be this, they had this super high level of maintenance in the past. You know what I'm saying? Women actually had actual logical human thoughts. They knew that, whatever they couldn't afford, they wasn't finna try to go out the way to get it, or they wasn't finna do, I'm talking about en masse here. They wasn't finna do egregious things in order to get what they thought that they wanted. It's not a need, it's a want. And that's a whole different mindset when you're in a want mindset versus a need. And these are just facts.
Who have found a way. And I am so happy they have. But most of my sisters are broke, just like most of my brothers are broke. But the sisters was acting like they not broke, holding up drinks on an island that they got there with a buddy pass and all that shit. No. It's finna be time during this administration where this man is literally pouring out all the fish in the pond and letting you see him try to live with no air. He's taking your income away. What jobs do you think will be available for us? When I say us, I'm talking about people of color. What jobs are going to be available for us in the future? You got to learn how to cook again.
And back to wet nursing.
Say it again.
It's going to be tough to get a wet nurse job with fake titties. That's bad for the baby.
Man, wow. Stop it with fake tits.
He's so stupid.
I'm just saying, wet nurses make good. When my grandparents moved to Pasadena in the 50s, my grandmother bought a house that's worth 1.6
Off of it, what mean?
for $10,000. She was a maid.
Oh,
Right up the street.
This generation don't remember when the sisters used to stand outside like a slave auction. I'm talking about in cities like New York and everything.
Right.
And they would have Caucasian people go over there and point them out. You want a job?
Yep.
Yes, sir. I sweep, I clean good. This
Yep.
ain't hundreds of years ago.
mm-mm.
This ain't hundreds of years ago.
No, it's 50, 60 years ago.
Yeah.
And see, that's our problem in today's society. We want to try to escape history. We want to try to delete history. But the thing of this is, like the old school saying says, you know what I'm saying? Your past does determine your future. If you try to not remember the past, you're doomed to repeat it. And these are facts. And this is what's going on here now. We're starting to see this full-fledged, and it's happening, but right before our eyes, and everybody wants to sit here and be stupid, especially these ladies out here. You think that you're not going to be like Big Mama and all them again, and this and that, and whoop the whoop, because at the end of the day, you done went out here, they done pumped y'all heads up, thinking that, you know what I'm saying, you're better than your men and stuff like that. But then, though, too, you know what I'm saying, they did us dirty as men in society, and black men, and then kicked us out. They did that for a reason. Listen, look, the plan to destroy definitely the black community was a long game. It was a long game. It was a decade upon decades long game. The long game wins the war. But see, we've been so stupid out here till we can't foresee the long game that's been happening. Now, like Corey said, the chickens are coming home to roost. They've already displaced us as men, and then now we've been coming back up and trying to just slowly but surely get our footing back and things like that. But now they've been working on the women and destroying the women. They've been working on the women since the late fucking 80s, early 90s. Through music, entertainment, all this other type of stuff, you know, because women are more, you know, the more able to, you know, saying go with the probably, I mean, like the flow of, you know, each other and things like that. You know what I'm saying? What other women do, women want to do, things like that. They, you know what I'm saying, they see on the internet, stuff like that. And that's what's going on. So yeah, it's crazy out here. But this is what's happening. And now, you know what I'm saying, they're about to shut the water spout off. They're about to cut this shit off, and it's about to get crazy.
But now the internet is here, and everybody is, I'm boss now. No, you're not. You're struggling. And the job that you thought was going to help you pay off that car you signed for is probably finna be gone.
They said they're gonna get an eyelash rejuvenation. That's great.
Oh.
I'm saying, what kind of jobs can they get?
You know what though? I'm gonna tell you this, man.
Because they don't have to clean their houses no more. Look, this might be some bullshit to say. They got people from other races cleaning their house now.
Right. So a lot of black women can't get them jobs anymore, which, you know what I'm saying, it just is what it is. You know, nowadays, you know, most black women they got too much pride to clean anybody's house. Hell, half these chicks barely clean their own house. Just being real. So yeah, they got too much pride for that nowadays. No, they not gonna go. You know, they're not gonna go back to that. But at the same time, too, you know, to be quote unquote falsely elevated and put in these positions to where they think that they have these degrees and the jobs and stuff like that, and they're losing them. Just like the young lady that talked in the first part of this broadcast that I showed you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And she was like, listen, look, y'all got to start getting back, you know, with y'all black men out here. But see, this is the issue that's not being talked about. Somewhat it is. But the thing of this is that black women have pushed black men so far away to this, like, how can we Y'all talk so dirty. You've done so many treacherous things. You've shown yourselves definitely on this internet. We see how y'all been thinking, at least for the past, well, since the internet's been, at least for the past 20 years of the internet. Maybe a little bit lesser. But we see how a lot of sisters think about us. You know what I'm saying? We're only banks, or we only need to be used as workhorses and tools and stuff like that. And we see how a lot of y'all think. And then now that shit is about to hit the fan, this is the early stages of it. Shit is about to hit the fan, and y'all think that, you know what I'm saying, it's going to be a easy road to get the decent black men back on board. We're not talking about Pookies and Ray Rays that y'all out here having children with in mass out here. This is crazy. We're talking about the decent black men that have decided, you know, they got themselves together and things like that. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy to get back in good graces. I'm just being real with you out here.
Yeah.
When they brought us here to this country, that's what we was used for. To do work in the fields, be slaves. Now,
When stink lingers.
True tale. Damn, they giving me serious commercials. But this is the truth, though. You know what I'm saying? And it's sad to see this situation, because this is what's going to go down. And it's about to get worse. It's about to get way worse.
they got other people who are willing to take them jobs and don't have the same disposition as the lost-minded sister. You know, if they got you in the house, you on the internet. What are these girls? Okay, the one girl got fired twerking on the plane.
Yep.
Right.
Then some other girl just get fired. She was twerking in some uniform. They fired her ass.
No, I didn't.
Mhm.
Who?
A secure.
A security guard.
Yep.
Yeah, whoring is
Now, of course, I'm not talking to all my
Amazing.
sisters, but I am talking to a whole bunch of them. It's over. It's time to be accountable for who you are. They allowed you to hide on the porch and act like you was better than the brothers they wouldn't even let on the porch. Guess what? They kicking all y'all off the porch. I see what's happening with money. Oh man, money is finna be scarce. How are you gonna make it? What can you do? This content creator shit ain't working. OnlyFans ain't getting everybody money like they used to.
No, you have to do some crazy stuff on Only. Them OnlyFans girls, oof.
What? How they gonna get some money? Look at somebody say we weren't brought here. We were already here. Hey, we were already here, but
shit. We ain't.
a whole bunch of us had to take a boat ride, brother. A cold boat ride. Well, we.
Hey, shout out to Corey. I'm gonna end it right here, because you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day though, yeah, we heard what we need to hear and things like that. But yeah, though, at the end though, yeah, we were already here, but a lot of us did have to take that cold boat ride. A lot of our ancestors did, and those are the facts. But yeah, though, to speak upon the situation that's going on here with a lot of Black women losing these prestigious jobs and things like that, government jobs, all this type of stuff. It's about to, like Kevin Samuel said, winter was coming. Winter is here. It's here. And it's starting to slap everybody across the face. And, men, we definitely, the reason why the majority of men were on Kevin Samuel's side, because the logic in what Kevin Samuel's message is the truth. And we foresaw it. And this is where we at now. And it's only going to get colder. Like I said before, man, y'all better hopefully y'all could afford some chinchilla coats out there, some wool coats or something like that, because y'all gonna need them. Y'all gonna need some good clothing to protect yourself from this cold out here, because it's about to get colder. It's about to get way more colder, and y'all not even understanding as ladies out here that how much more colder this shit finna get. Definitely for black women. I'm sorry, but it's just the truth. And y'all have pushed black men so far away these past, few decades. And I don't know, and then y'all pride is in the way and stuff like that. I don't know if y'all can actually, get yourselves back on board and stuff like that, and back in line with your men, like the other cultures are with their men. It's sad though, and I really hate that for the black culture and stuff like that, because I grew up in a time where black women were graceful. It was a lot more ladies out here than it was harlots and things like that, and everybody had their ups and downs, but yeah, man, it was just different. Like I said, I'm 42, so I remember a time before a lot of you new agers and stuff like that. And what I'm saying, a lot of my older people, they remember that too. But it's just come to this point here, man, and it's a tragic situation. And I hate to see our black women in this type of predicament. But they fell for they fell for the forbidden fruit, and they're out here now, and the government and all these other types of things that's been holding them up for the past 40 years plus, and things like that are turning their backs on them. And it's shit about to really hit the fan. Shit about to really hit the motherfucking fan out here. And, regardless of whether people believe it or not, it is. But it is what it is, though. Shout out to all my subscribers. Mad love to y'all. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell to be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say, that, my friends, is the bottom line.